Oh, hey. Are you a jammer? Yes. Amazing. In that case, welcome to the first ever episode of the BioJam Podcast. My name's Jess, and today Sam and I are going to be diving into something that we've seen way too often in the clinic, and that's something that we call movement jail. It's that stuck feeling where potentially pain, fear, bad advice, or a bit of a scary diagnosis has kind of made you feel locked up and that you can't really move too freely anymore. So whether that's don't bend your back, don't let your knees go over your toes, that's the type of stuff that we see people stopping the things that they love to do. So in this episode, we're going to be chatting about what movement jail actually is, why people end up in it, and most importantly, how we get out of that. Sam's going to be breaking down some of the bigger picture concepts, and I'm going to be bringing in more clinical examples. So thanks for tuning in. We're actually so pumped you're here for the first episode. Let's jam. He does look quick.
Yeah.
It's just
It's like everything if you are rushing. And it's like just normal tasks. And he like slams the dishwasher.
And I was like, actually, he might. I had so much hope too, actually, for the race. I was like, I think he could come potentially close. He got flogged.
He did.
That's okay.
He got smoked.
Yeah.
The speed takes the too. And he runs in like bloody Yeezys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right.
Anyway, speaking of running, let's run into the episode.
I was like, where's this going?
Oh, yes.
I had no idea.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome to episode 1, Jammers.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Today, Sam and I are talking about movement jail. So did you want to give us a little bit of a rundown what movement jail is?
Of course. So movement jail is not my favourite place to be. It's probably actually my least favourite place to be. I mean, any jail's probably not a great place.
No.
Honestly.
Yeah. You did have some funny thoughts on jail, though. You thought it was
just quickly,
average and okay.
Yeah. I mean, the idea about the groups of people you're probably surrounded with isn't optimal.
No.
But I think, like, the concept of you don't really have to pay tax. There's, like, a designated lunchtime and, like, exercise time's really cool.
Yeah.
And you can just do, like, a heap of push-ups in your room. So there's, like, no distractions. Like, you're not really on social media wasting time on reels. You're just really locked into training.
Optimal.
Yeah, and then, there's a huge gym where you're all going, you train really hard and get really jacked. And I think it just really promotes discipline and getting locked in and building muscle. And
well, you reckon those guys are hitting the physical activity guidelines?
It depends the cardio. I feel like you could do a lot of body weight type calisthenic movements in your room.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that and then you spend your yard time out like playing basketball or like just doing some sprints, like vigorous activity, you're definitely meeting the guidelines.
That's
I feel like
true though.
Yeah, there's not really an excuse not to meet it.
No. And if they're doing it, we all can be. Really.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of constraints in jail.
Yeah.
And that brings us into movement jail.
Exactly.
All right, sorry, I got a bit sidetracked.
That's okay.
That to the viewers and listeners, should we expect to get sidetracked a little?
Yeah. We'll still cap it at 20 minutes, but we'll be sidetracked.
Yeah, we'll always reel it back, I promise.
Yes, so movement jail.
Yes, so it is a place with a lot of constraints.
Yes.
And it's not a very nice place to be. So movement jail, the concept really is if you don't perform tasks, exercise, movements throughout the day with this really perfect or optimal form, and that's all in quotation marks for everyone listening, that you will do damage to your body or it will lead to permanent sort of disability long term. And it could be like something like it'll wear out your joints or it'll doom you for a knee or hip replacement or you'll destroy your spine that you'll need a lumbar fusion or like different things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a really like fear invoking type place.
Yeah. So like a concept that promotes more like fear avoidance and like pain equals damage, that type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's and it's something that you might find yourself fall into because of fear avoidance. So it's like, I'm experiencing pain, and when that time I went for a run, my knees got really, really sore. So now running's not for me. So it could be something simple like that where you put yourself in there.
Yeah.
Or it could be maybe a health professional that maybe isn't up to date with the evidence and promotes sort of, oh no, like you can't deadlift because that's really dangerous for your back. Or if you do deadlift, you need to make sure your back's really straight.
Yeah.
And then it now removes the ability to do any sort of flex lift. And then people can second guess, or health professionals provide that advice globally to every context in life, where now you're picking up a piece of paper off the floor with a really rigid back.
Yeah.
And that would be really like restricting, uncomfortable, and it promotes fear.
Yeah.
If I drop a pencil on the ground and I don't perform a movement with this really strict technique, I could blow my disc or something really like nocebic like that. And that's the harm.
Yeah. And what do you mean by nocebic, just for listeners?
So nocebic, I like the term nocebro.
Nocebro. We're not nocebros.
No, we're definitely not nocebros. But nocebic is the opposite of something that's like a placebo. So placebo is something where if you expect a positive outcome, it's likely to happen, even if it's not. Like it could be a sugar pill that you take versus an actual like active ingredient medication. But because you expect it to help, and this is seen maybe with people that have headaches, taking a sugar pill still can provide symptom relief.
Yeah.
Nocebo, on the other hand, is something that's a negative type thing.
Yeah.
So if you expect, if I do pick up that 5 kilo weight, and last time my back got hurt, all my physios told me, hey, don't lift any weights over 5 kilo, and you do attempt that, you're already preempting that it might be dangerous.
Yes.
And you're more likely to experience pain or have challenges with that task.
Yeah.
I hope I've put that
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
nicely.
Nocebo negative.
Nocebo negative, placebo positive.
Yeah.
Also,
Easy.
it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen, but it just shows how important like our sort of perception and our priors and our experience play into just something, a simple task.
Yes, absolutely. So then coming back to like then the movement jail side of things, something even like a diagnosis on a scan where you look at it and you're like, and potentially the GP's explained it to you, like you've got a disc injury. As soon as you Google it and it goes, don't do flexion, don't bend over. It's like, okay. That's
like McGill's Big Three, or do a heap of bird dogs, or your core's unstable.
Yes.
Or you've slipped a disc.
Yeah.
All these sort of things. You can see like they're really like nocebic as a new term, if that's what we've learnt today from my definition. But those would be nocebic things because also they're not true. Like your discs don't just slip out and shoot out your spine. Like they're still held in there, but they can bulge and cause some irritation. Yeah.
But you can see how that puts people into that fear avoidance movement jail phase as well, just with the language. Some examples then of movement jail.
Yeah. So you've already touched on something. It could be like scan results. So it's like, running will cause wear and tear. So it's like osteoarthritis. And then it's our interpretation of what wear and tear is, that it's disabling and it's doom and gloom and you need a replacement. And it removes participation from activities like running or jumping or that sort of thing, because you'll wear out your joints more. Could be like, it can be something as far-fetched, and I do hear it a fair bit. It's like, you're not resisting gravity efficiently. So it's like you need to brace your core when you walk around. It's wild. Like
it's crazy. But even just like the same thing, like knees over toes, like that type of thing. It's like, obviously the evidence is very broad in that sense, but it's the same thing. Like knees over toes, you're not going to break yourself.
No.
It's like you see people doing that weird squat pattern where they go knees forward.
Like a sissy squat.
Sissy squat. And then they hold the chair and they're like leaning far forward. I'm like, it would be so much easier if you just like sat down. But you don't have to worry about that stuff.
And like a sissy squat can be exceptional for training the quads.
Absolutely.
But also you see online like some horrible accidents from people doing sissy squats, but it's more about the load. And I think this comes back to movement jail.
Yeah.
What a lot of the research shows is that technique isn't that vital in certain circumstances. So if we're talking about performance, 100%, like I think technique really is important if we want to be really optimal and efficient at tasks. We've got to find the technique though that works for you.
Yes.
When it comes to injury risk though, it's almost like not important.
Yeah.
It is more the load and the preparation that your body has before completing a task. So like the sissy squat example, it's not that sissy squats are inherently like dangerous and put them in movement jail.
No.
But it's like, let's not load them like 50 kilos when you haven't even done them with like 5 kilos yet. Like, that's probably a sensible thing.
Well, yeah. And same thing like lifting boxes, like when you're moving houses or something. It's like, yeah, cool. You might pick up 1 box a day at work. You might pick your laundry up and it's 10 kilos or something. Then you go and move houses and you're doing it repetitively over the course of like 2 weeks. It's not a bad movement to do, but you just weren't prepared to do it for 2 weeks on end, 10 kilo, 20 kilo boxes.
Yeah.
Like, you've just got DOMs. Like, you haven't blown a disc out. No. You haven't done anything like that.
But again, it's like really quick and easy for a health professional or yourself with a Google. It's like, oh yeah, I've herniated a disc because you have back pain after moving. It's like,
yes,
let's apply some context. You've done an unaccustomed task.
Yeah.
It's like shoveling. Oh, I just shoveled for 6 hours on repeat. Now my elbow's sore and my low back sore. It's like, oh, when's the last time you did shoveling task? Yeah. Oh, it's been probably like 4 years. And now it's 6 hours in this one. It's like, yeah, you just really sore, mate. Mm-hmm. You've had a really effective workout.
Yeah.
And now you're sore.
Yeah. I think that's the fun part of, like, I guess our job though, with like subjectives and like chatting to people when they come in with these injuries, because it's like, you kind of get them to the point that they rationalize that for themselves, and you only really have to go, hey, you haven't done that for a while. And they're like, you're so right. Okay. So you're not really even forcing them into the point of going, this is what the evidence says, this is this. It's just rationalizing it with them, that they go, yeah, you're right. I wasn't ready to lift that box 20 times across the course of a day.
No. And it's like super common sense model. Yeah. And I think that's like what healthcare should be. It's like this problem solving after hearing someone's journey.
Yeah.
I think where it goes wrong though is when, so like again, movement jail, we can see those examples. They're very much about this like biomedical or biomechanical model where humans are meant to move in this one specific set way, and if we don't respect those rules, then you will have these injuries.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will have these negative outcomes, and you know, it's like a car breaking down.
Yeah, which is not the case.
No. And
so this is that probably leads us into how to get out of movement jail, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to share something. So it's a little thing called the human spirit.
Go on.
It's that we're all really, really adaptable. Bioplastic, some may say.
Yes, big word.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
So all of us listening today have the 2 characteristics that we require.
Yes, very easy criteria, right?
To be bioplastic.
Yes.
Do you want to share one of them?
One is just being a human.
What?
That's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, we may have some animal listeners, but I do believe that any living organism has the ability to.
Yeah.
And the second one is just don't be dead.
So if you're listening, jammers.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Yeah. And you could be like a cat or a dog listening, and you might not understand. I mean, until we get those collars that translate our animals, like
true,
voice to text type thing.
Yeah.
We'll find out eventually.
Yeah.
But we're all bioplastic, which means we have this ability to always adapt and change and grow and improve no matter what. That is never done until we are actually quite literally done.
Yeah. It's such a cool concept though, because I think it applies to not just the movement jail, but everything across like what we do and how we train. It's like, regardless of whether it's a positive or a negative, your body's going to adapt to that load, stressor, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it kind of shapes the people we are, right? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to go and run like fucking 300 Ks.
Yeah.
Like you could.
Yeah.
And you'd bounce back.
Yeah.
Potentially. You might come out with a few little things, but you'd bounce back.
Yeah, and I think so. It's like,
it's so cool.
Could you go and run 300 Ks? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Could you prepare yourself strategically over time to really tolerate that and do well and feel good? Yeah. Would it still feel shit? Yeah. But that's the thing about being human. It's like there's an ultra marathon event, the Dead Cow Gully in Australia. Like barely anyone would know about it. They ran like hundreds and hundreds of miles, like back to back to back. It's like on the hour you're running a 6.7k loop.
Yeah.
On repeat for days on end. Like the winner, I'll have to get it up. I can't remember. I think it was like 700 and something kilometers or
it's
beyond that.
It's crazy though, right?
And they're alive and they survive, but they've prepared their body, and it's still an extreme feat. And like, is that really healthy? No, maybe not. Like, but they're pushing themselves and pushing limits, and that's what humans do. Like, we push limits.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's like what adaptation is, but it's over time and strategically, and that's where we fall in. It's not that we expect everyone listening to go and do a 300k run, but it's like, if you want to do a 5k, no one should ever say you can't.
No. And regardless, I think, of pain, injury, that type of thing, I think bioplasticity and our adaptation, it's just not well known enough out there. I don't know if that makes a bit of sense, but I think if people understand that concept a little bit more, I think they'll put themselves in the position that they can push for change, and whether it's like coming back from injury, or again just going out and doing like a 5k, or wanting to PB on a deadlift, or whatever it is. It's just so exciting that we have the ability to do that.
It's just it's set up for success, and that's where it's like consulting with health professionals that believe that you can change and improve is so important, because this, again, it's this full circle. If we continue to see health professionals, or the advice we're given is restrictive and reductionistic and limits our ability to participate in physical activity, that's not promoting bioplasticity. That's not promoting our ability to change and improve. No. It's actually restricting us. And as these restrictions become bigger and bigger, we do less and less and less. And that's not great for other determinants of health, like social, psychological, and physical health. And that's the real harm. Like, I think movement jail and the term bioplasticity, they're like catchy and like,
they seem cool.
Clickbaity and stuff. But there is real harm with this sort of stuff.
And we see it too much.
No, well, like a client came in this week with hip bursitis. That was the diagnosis they'd been given, and they'd seen a few other health professionals but hadn't really clicked, and they heard about our place through a family member, and was like, I really like what I've heard about this place, and you don't limit, and you like build capacity and believe in us. But advice that this client had from a physio was, you've got bursitis, you should stop walking. But that's like the point blank. It's like, also, because sometimes you're like, did maybe the client misinterpret? But that was very clear. So the advice, stop walking because you have hip pain. Your main mode of transport as a human being is really wild. But you can see that's putting someone in movement jail. So if you can't walk, you can't run. If you can't walk, you probably can't jump. If you can't walk, how did you even attend the appointment with that physio? I think, again, it's like, this then leads to this nocebo. If the advice is I can't even walk, what else can't I do? Which is so rough. Like, it's such a bad spot, I think, to be in when that's how you're thinking and that's how you're feeling, and you're going, someone I trusted has given me that information. And I don't think it's coming from a bad place either. I think there's definitely different ways you can look at it, but you'd hope that the health professionals that are giving the advice are just trying to either meet the person and go, they're in a lot of pain, that's a great pain relief strategy for you currently. But I think it immediately starts the fear avoidance, movement jail concept if you're not going, okay, let's try and get you walking at least as tolerated, and then this is how we kind of go about this if pain arises. I don't know, there's a lot of different ways. I agree. I don't think it's malicious, but I think it does, though, breed to non-guideline care.
Absolutely.
Because so much of the care, if we look at like low back pain clinical standards from, I think it was 2018, it's about empowerment and not restricting movement and addressing those yellow flags around fear avoidance. And if something like back pain, we're saying you need to brace your core all the time, you need to be careful when you pick up things, and we do that. That's not guideline care anymore. So even though it doesn't explicitly say, like, you know, in the guidelines, don't put people in movement jail, that is exactly what it means. It's about not spreading this fear. It's also then part of the guidelines in that document is try and minimize unnecessary imaging because there's no CB consequence from reading things like disc bulge from degeneration that then influences behavior and activity because you think your body's frail. And we don't do that here.
No.
Anti-fragility.
Very anti.
Hopeful, empowerment.
Absolutely.
We want you to believe in yourself, and it is awesome that we can always change.
Of course.
We can always recover too, as long as we're alive. And that's the really exciting part about all this bioplasticity and human spirit and however we want to term it. Like, we're so cool.
Yeah.
And
even just getting out of movement jail, like that's such a cool concept, to start implementing, and people going like, yes, I'm out of it. Like I completely know I can do that, and I can adapt. It's
and you see it. So how in the clinic, Jess, do you implement like sort of the getting free of movement jail?
Yeah.
What do you go through with a client to achieve that?
I think I just hit it on the head at the start, to be honest. It's about, for me, expectations of them coming in. I think it's such an underrated question. It's like I see someone straight away, and it seems like a bit of a funny one to bring up, but I'm like, what's your expectation from the session? What's your expectation from me and my profession? And I think physio, you get a couple of different ones where it's like, oh, massage is gonna fix me, I need to like make sure I bend properly. I just want a movement assessment to make sure I'm doing this properly. And it's like, okay, why do you then have that perception around bending per se? And then they're like, oh, well, I've been told in the past that bending's not ideal. And it's like, okay, are you worried about bending? Yes. Did you pick your washing up? Yes. So you can bend. And I think it's just then breaking down little tasks that they do throughout the week that potentially involve one of those movement jail concepts, and going, if you can tolerate that, great. Is your load asking for more than that? So say, again, moving houses or something, you need to pick a box up and like put it up on the top shelf 3 or 4 times a week, or 3 or 4 times in the day. It's like, okay, maybe your strength tolerance isn't there, but doing it once is not going to hurt you. Doing it 3 times may not hurt you either, but you might pull up a little bit sore. I think, again, rationalising it for them and going, this is what's either led to you coming in, or this is potentially why we need to address this now, and just get you used to that is super helpful. So getting the expectations, getting their understanding of why they think that way, whether they had been told that, whether they had read a scan, whether another physio or a GP has given a bad diagnosis, or a diagnosis, not bad, but a diagnosis. So I hope that answers it slightly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because well, what you said about diagnosis too, it's not even like if it's bad or good or whatever. No. It's like, I think too, it's then the consequence of giving that. Yes. Because then you Google it, and then so this is the thing too. It's like not necessarily, and it's like not saying diagnosis is irrelevant or not necessary or really bad, but there is a flow-on consequence of these things. Absolutely. Because then there's a Google search, and then the Google search, typically when you do search things, it's always the worst case scenario, and it blows up, and then you put yourself in movement jail as someone like diagnosed with something. And I think that's how I go about it though. It's like if that's what they want out of it as well, I'm not opposed to giving them, that's a hot take, I'm not opposed to giving them a diagnosis, but it depends on who they are. Yes. If they're coming to me and their expectation is, I need you to tell me what's going on, I'll tell them broadly what I think is happening, and then they're going, okay, so what is it? It's like, it could be also this. Is that helpful to you? Maybe, if that's what they needed coming in, but here's some resources that I trust that you can also have a read at. There's a lot of stuff, and I make it very clear, I'm like, there's a lot of stuff out there that you're going to read that says don't do this or don't do that. This is the stuff I work off. This is the most up-to-date things that I can find. This is guideline care. Unreal. And I think that's super helpful to even just provide them with some resources that they're like, okay, if I actually want to read and I potentially want to take that into my own hands and trust what I'm doing or trust what diagnosis I've been given, at least then I feel confident that they have the resources to do that, and not just go, hey, back hurts when lifting. It's like, of course you're going to come up with some movement jail stuff out of there. But Cool. Key takeaways then from the episode. Movement jail sucks. It is my main one. Real jail is good. No, I'm joking. We don't condone any jails. Don't go to jail. Probably don't go to jail. We'll just beat that. We'll cut that out. We won't cut that out. No. This is one take only. No script. We've taken some feedback. We've taken feedback after the trailer was maybe scripted. I mean, it was meant to be, because apparently I kept giving shout outs. Oh, that's a reminder. Shout out Jacob. No, this is a nice one. Shout out
shout
Jacob.
out.
Jacob came in, told me, hey, I heard about your podcast. That's so exciting. And I want to give you a shout out, Jacob. So, because I know you'll be listening.
Yes.
I can't wait for you to come into the clinic and tell me that you heard the shout out. And yeah, it'll just help us bond even closer.
That means he's got to listen to the whole episode.
Therapeutic Alliance. Well, this is good test, isn't it?
It
Did
is.
you do your homework?
Yeah. We'll leave a magic word. B.
B, like a
B.
bzz,
Bzz, B.
like B movie B.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
If you come up and you comment the word B,
Yep. Or, yeah, tell us
listened
in
to the
person. If you just say B.
we know you've listened.
Yeah. All right, so I've done my takeaway. What was your takeaway?
My takeaway is that as humans, we are so adaptable.
Oh, yeah.
And we shouldn't be worried
No.
about doing everyday things.
No, we can get really big muscles.
Yeah.
We can get really strong bones.
Yeah.
We can even change our mindset about things where we thought maybe once we weren't able to do something and now we're like running really, really far and we're like, geez, when you look back, you're like, far out.
Absolutely.
I never thought I'd do this.
Yeah.
So I
See,
think,
that's my shout out. Cranky.
Oh,
for
yeah,
our 12K
yeah.
this morning.
Unreal. Good
Adaptable.
stuff. Yeah, unreal.
Adaptable.
Well done,
Perfect.
Cranky.
Well done. All right. Well, thanks for listening, Jammers. I hope you got something out of our first episode of the potty.
Yeah.
Excited to bring you some more.
No, so stoked. And
We're
this
so excited.
had a lot of fun today, Jess.
Yeah. Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
You're listening on Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
But happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday and Monday.
Yes,
And we've done our physical activity for the day.
we have.
Maybe this is a segment to quickly share what you've done today to meet the guidelines.
To meet the guidelines, I woke up early with Cranky and did a 15K run.
Damn.
Damn.
In your Alpha Fly
In
ones.
my Alpha Flies.
I'm a shoe nerd, so
Me
I love
too.
seeing those photos on Strava when you put your shoes on.
Oh,
Oh, follow us on Strava too, by the way.
please do.
Uh,
What did you do, Sam?
I went for a run with Alistar.
Oh, shout out, Alistair.
Shout out Alistar.
Oh.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Oh my god.
He's adaptable too. He believes in the human spirit.
Love that.
Showed himself doing a marathon that, I don't know, once he told me I'd have no desire to do that, did Paris Marathon.
I love that.
Unreal. So there you go.
That's a big shout out.
Yeah, we did a 10K and then had some brekkie. And that was delicious.
Perfect.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Well, perfect.
Nice.
Nice to chat.
I'll leak a little bit about our next episode coming up as well.
Yes.
As long as we're still within the 20-minute time frame.
Hopefully.
So quickly.
I don't know if we are.
Strong bones are important.
Yes.
And that's what we'll talk about next. That's where we'll leave it.
That's perfect. Awesome. All
right,
right.
good
Thanks,
stuff.
Jammers.
Thanks for listening.